Good morning.
Good morning.
If you'd like to stand, we'll sing our call to worship. 1, 2, 3, 4. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of. It's love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of. It's love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, everything I did more of is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love,
Morning. Well, the sun's out, but it's 32 degrees, but it's not snowing. It's sunny. I want to welcome you all to Unity of Traverse City. My name is Ann Reed, and I will be your worship assistant today. And I'm very honored to be here, and I'm thrilled to see so many seats filled. It's great. Everybody's coming back from Florida. Yeah, yay. We're going to start today with some announcements, but before I get into those, I also want to welcome anyone who may be watching on YouTube. That's what I did for 6 weeks when I was gone. So it's a great opportunity. If you miss a service, just turn it on YouTube and you can see the whole thing. It's really a nice feature. Well, we have a lot. We have a lot going on today. All good, all good. And we'll start with announcements. I'm going to actually abbreviate the announcements today. So if you haven't picked up one of these, please be sure to grab one after the service because that will give you more detail about each of these programs or events that I'm going to describe very, very briefly. First, we have Compassionate Choices is going to be meeting this Wednesday at 6 p.m., and everybody is welcome. And again, you'll find more information about that in the bulletin. The Lessons in Truth book study will begin on Thursday, this Thursday, at 1 p.m. And Bob, where is Bob? We've lost Bob. What about Bob? Everybody knows that move. There he is. Hey, Bob, how long does Lessons in Truth? Is that 6 weeks? 5 weeks. So if you're interested in attending that, again, there's a sign-up sheet in the hallway. Please make sure you sign up. See. All right. Thank you, Bob. Finally, don't forget the beach cleanup in honor of Earth Day next Sunday from 1 until 3. And again, there is a sign-up sheet in the hallway. There's also a waiver form that you'll need to complete, so please, if you're interested, do both. And finally, don't forget to bring in your community donations next Sunday. And I believe these are for cleaning and paper goods for people in need. So again, those will be taken out to those in need next Sunday. Now we're going to move into why I've shortened the announcements today, because we have 3 presentations. They're titled, You Are the Church. And to explain what that's all about, I'm going to ask Molly DeBall to come forward, our Board of Trustee President.
Thank you very much. Morning, everybody. Okay, so I hope you all remember last week we kind of talked about what these You Are the Church presentations are all about. And so we're actually going to start them today. And so after I get done, we're going to have Libby come up and talk about her worship group. And we're going to have, thank you. I was looking out there. Who else is coming up? And Ann will come up and talk about her groups. But you know, before we start talking about these different committees, I wanted to talk about a lot of the work that gets done by individuals, not by a committee, but by an individual. And I'm going to start out today, and I'm going to thank Ollie, because Ollie helped me fold all of the announcements this morning. So just little things like that, you know, really are helpful. So thank you, Ollie. Yes. Yeah. And then, you know, some of these things you guys, you know, you see them, but you don't know how these things happen. So every Thursday you get an e-newsletter, right? Well, Meg, for years, did that e-newsletter, and now Marianne has taken that over. And so those guys have are keeping this tradition going for us. So thank you guys for that. Meg is continuing to do our website and our Facebook, and we're looking at more social media things, but Meg has still got her fingers in the pot with that stuff. Yeah. So the slides, the order of service, and the announcements that you all have, that's something that I've been doing for the church. Nancy Newman, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Nancy Newman is the one who keeps the inside of our church so beautiful with all of these beautiful decorations that she has all throughout the church. And she's, yeah. And she's been doing that for a very long time. And then Lori Coburn is keeping the outside of our church beautiful by planting and taking care of our flowers. And there's Lori right there. Taking care of our flowers every year. And then we have Kay. And Kay does like several things. Kay does the data entry. Every week there's data to be entered into the computer, and Kay takes care of that every week. She takes care of our used bookstore. She takes care of our library. She keeps our bulletin boards up to date. She manages our Olson receipts and getting refunds from Olson. So all of that is Kay working behind the scenes doing all of that. And then we have Julie, who is Julie, and there's Julie over there. And Julie is here every Sunday morning to do meditation services with people if they're interested. And she's been available and willing to do that for years now. So thanks, Julie, for doing that. And we have Ernie over here, and Ernie is like our AV expert assistant guy who keeps us involved in all of the AV stuff and keeps it all working. He helped get all the monitors hung up here, and whenever we need like technical things, we always look to Ernie. So he's always involved in keeping that kind of stuff going for us. So thanks to Ernie. Yeah. And then we have, and Cliff Osling isn't here right now, but I just wanted to remember Cliff because last year he painted all of our doors and he painted our railings and he patched the hole in our sidewalk. And so we have people like that who are always doing things behind the scenes to keep things going around the church. And I just wanted to make sure that those individuals got recognized before we go into all the committees. So now with the committees, I'll turn it over to Ann.
Thank you, Molly. And then we have Molly, our board president, who keeps us on track, gets things done, and is just a terrific leader for all of us. So thank you, Molly. Thank you. All right, we're going to start with the Finance Committee. And Dave Ginsburg and Michael Robold, would you please come forward? These are the people that watch the money. And Dave is going to go into a little bit more about what we do and why it's important to the church. And Michael is going to end it with a very brief description. Thank you, Michael. Of why. So David, who are you? Dave.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to take you down memory lane a minute. When I was years ago, I was on the board for 3 years. And when I first started, I was on the finance committee at that time with Sue Schwartz, the two of us, and we were like cavemen operating in a tight little office downtown, working with the budgets, the figures, the money. I felt like a caveman. It was a little office that we had a lady that did our finances downtown, upstairs, once a month. I couldn't believe it. And we've come so far in these years. So you remember that, don't you? Yeah. Ooh, boy. We're on this committee. We are watching the watchers. That's what we're doing. We come in a couple of times a year and look at all the figures, the statements, and we compare them to what's spent and what's saved and where the money is put. And it's all random. We take from here, we take from there. But everything, we came in a couple months ago and it matched up perfectly. So our money and the money that we give is being really well taken care of. That's it for me.
Well, the fundraising is a necessity for, I think, every church and probably most nonprofit organizations. And having served on the board many years ago as the treasurer, I saw standing room only here on a number of Sundays, but the money just barely made the expenses. So you can't really figure that just the offerings are going to take care of all the expenses that a organization is dealing with. And I know that the recent flooding has affected many of you, or a number of you, and times are always going to be challenging as far as where are we going to come up with the money. But I think if you've been here long enough, you've seen how everybody comes together, just like this example of the table and all the items that are going to be donated. So fundraising, I've been through a lot of various fundraising, from bake sales to retreats to dinners and auctions. And as many of you might know, we've been doing the University of Michigan versus Ohio State football game for the past 3 years. I'm not sure whether that's worthy of going on. Maybe it's worn out its time and we need something new. But fundraising should be fun, it should be simple, and basically a minimal amount of effort and expense to put it all together. So if you have some ideas, certainly we're always interested in what we could be doing that we haven't done, or if we want to return to something that worked in the past. But you know, we've got a number of projects here that could be done, they just need the funding. So that's where fundraising comes in. Was that short enough?
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And I should explain, now there are two teams. There's a finance committee, which is the oversight team. There's a fundraising prosperity team, and we're actually looking at merging the two. The other person involved in fundraising is Bill Dawson, who is back from Arizona today. Bill has some really great ideas that I think we are going to be able to implement. So, as Michael said, it's important. only represents about 5% of our total income, but that 5% goes toward things like the captioning system, maybe a new door, the sound system, improving it. So things that we could probably do without if we had to, but sure make this place a lot better as a result of it. So we are looking for another member if anyone is interested in joining that or joining this team. We're really a lot of fun. Even Michael's fun. Thank you. Libby. Libby's going down a totally different path, away from the money.
Don't you love Unity Thought? It's very sustaining and gets us up every day, and we say, yes, there's hope, we have strength. So I'm talking about what we do. It's actually fun to see all the different people that are active behind the scenes, right? And our worship assistant team, there's about 7 of us at this time, and our job is to sustain and help support the service. And as you know, when you see a worship assistant up here, they are in charge of really the smooth operation of the way the service runs, but there are many surprises. You don't just take a sheet and come up here and think you're going to guide through the service easily. There's always surprises and changes and shifts. A worship assistant team does prayers and meditations if the minister speaking does not want to do the meditation, or they work it out. But the worship assistant team is here to support the minister as well. And it's important that that individual or those individuals are steeped in Unity Thought, and that they're experienced with the church and they know what's going on here and kind of have a good vision of what this is all about. So that's a simplistic way to say it, but the biggest job when you're on the worship assisting team is that you must be prepared. Let's say Judy was coming down to speak and there's a blizzard, and you find that out about 9 o'clock, the worship assistant will be prepared to do the lesson that day. So, yeah. You're a standby team, too. And we schedule about 4 months out, and there's more preparation in this particular volunteer piece because you have lots you have to prepare before you come. So anyway, it's wonderful, fun, and that's what we do. So there's some more people hidden behind the scenes doing their homework. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've only done one other standby role, and that was Peter Pan when I was in college. Never had to go on stage. I didn't know the lines. I could crow like a rooster. Anyway. Again, part of the reason we're doing this is to share how we operate now as a community. And we thought it was important that the whole congregation understand that. And if you choose to participate as much as you would want to or not want to in it. So we'll continue on with these presentations over the next 2 Sundays. If you're new today, and I see a couple of new faces, this isn't typical. It's just something we're doing at this stage because we are operating without a full-time minister, and we've been operating pretty darn well. So we wanted to give credit to ourselves about that, credit to the congregation for that, and also create a better understanding of why we're doing what we're doing and how we're doing it. So that's the background. So let's start our service now with an affirmation that we can say together. It should be on the screen. Together, I am breathing in peace and breathing out peace. And today we have our Earth Care Covenant from Mary Ann.
Good morning. So today is Earth Care Sunday, and I would like to begin by sharing words from a Russian philosopher, Dostoevsky. Love all God's creation, both the whole and every grain of sand. Love every leaf, every ray of light. Love the animals, love the plants, love everything. If you love everything, you will perceive the divine mystery in them. And once you perceive it, you will begin to comprehend it better every day. And you will come to, at last, to love the world with an all-embracing love. And so as we embrace Mother Earth, and it is Earth Month and Earth Day is this week, let us read our covenant together. Together. Our consciousness reveals that all of creation is connected as one. As a people of faith, we commit to a renewed reverence for life and respect for the interdependent web of all existence. We envision a world where all beings are assured a secure and meaningful life that is ecologically responsible and sustainable. We agree to transform our individual and congregational lives into acts of moral witness, discarding harmful habits for new behaviors that demonstrate our respect for this harmony and interconnectedness. We declare our covenant with God to walk lightly upon the earth for the greatest good of all creation. And this month, our Earth Care action step is to plant a tree. So in honor of Earth Day, which is coming up this Wednesday, the Compassionate Choices Group we've purchased seedlings from the Grand Traverse Conservation District that we'd like to give to you. There are 2 species, the bur oak and the tulip tree. And these are kind of interesting. What I learned is they are both part of the Assisted Tree Range Expansion Program, which was developed in response to the ongoing and impending impacts climate change is having on northern Michigan forests. So by planting these types of trees, these species that are predominantly, they thrived south of us, like in southern and mid-Michigan. Bringing them here, we can help increase the ecosystem diversity, offspread the tree die-offs, and ultimately improve the resilience of our future forests. So the seedlings and all the information will be in the fellowship hall. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And if you don't have a place to plant a tree, please take 1 or 2 and give them to friends and neighbors to do that. There's a Greek proverb that I came across that says, "A society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they shall never sit." So let's show our greatness and love for Mother Earth by doing just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
They take so long. I can do anything I make up my mind to do. I've got a thing inside that I was designed to do, and nothing can hold me back if I don't want it to, 'cause I can do anything I make up my mind to do. 'Cause if I can think, then
Now we'll move into our prayer and meditation today. And today I've combined them just because we have so much going on. So I'd like to begin by asking you to just get comfortable in your seat. Maybe remove anything that's on your lap. Place both feet on the floor. You can remove your shoes if you want to. And feel the earth beneath you. And maybe your hands are in your lap facing upward. Now close your eyes and breathe slowly. Inhaling on 4 counts, holding 2, and then exhaling for 6. Let's do that again. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. Let each breath anchor you in the present. Now let's affirm divine order. Doing so can be such a comfort, especially when chaos seems to reign and a desired outcome feels out of reach. But divine order is so much more than a comforting idea. It's a spiritual truth that supports all things and upon which all manifestation depends. If I feel out of step with divine order, which I do at times, I don't try to tackle the chaos that surrounds me until I've first gone within. And that's where we're going. I want you to imagine a vast, luminous tapestry stretching beyond sight. Threads of light weave through every moment. The smallest kindness, the briefest pain, the turning of the seasons. Each thread has its place in a pattern too large for the mind to hold. Feel how your thread is woven into that pattern, sometimes taut, sometimes slack, but always held. And reflect on 3 quiet truths. That there is interconnectedness. Nothing stands alone. Your choices ripple outward. Other lives return their echoes. Sense the gentle exchange between you and the whole. That there's purpose beyond knowing. Not every event will make sense. Trust that even what feels confusing or harsh contributes to a larger design. Allow surrender where certainty fails. And that there is order through change. The universe orders itself not by freezing form, but by unfolding it. Birth, decay, renewal. Embrace change as the mechanism of harmony, not its enemy. Order begins with me in my own mind. I begin by meditating on the idea of order, letting it take root in my consciousness and flourish there. Bring your attention to your heart. Offer gratitude for the guidance you received, the lessons learned, and the mysteries still unfolding. If worry arises, place it on a thread and let it flow outward, knowing it will find its place. I practice patience as I trust divine timing, knowing my life and all life is in divine order. And so it is. Amen.
child. I see pure possibility. Power in your very hand. The world is at your command. You are pure possibility. Do you know you are precious? Do you know you are free? Do you know you are a child of God, and that makes you royalty? Do you know your dreams can take you beyond your imagining? Unlimited and free, pure possibility. Perfect and one of a kind, it truly boggles the mind. You are pure possibility. Remain brave-hearted and true, and let the magic come through. You are pure possibility. Will you give your very best in life all your days through? And remember who you really are when they try to label you. And know your love is closer than the breath inside of you. Unlimited and free, pure possibility. Within every soul, we are perfect and whole. There lies pure possibility. Pure possibility.
We are, again, I say this every time I worship, we're so fortunate.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. So sweet. So sweet. Can I have it just in case? Thank you. It's great, Meg. Thank you. Music team, totally. You're wonderful. Is this on? It's on. Turn it off? No? Okay. 'Cause I'm going to be brave. I can do anything, you know? I just sang it. I left the machine there. I got a voice, and Spirit does the job. And I know that. God does the job. Time. So all the things have been shared I want to bring together, if I can, in this lesson, in this message, on order. Yes, I am talking about order. Yeah, I'm talking about divine order. I'm talking about that daily word from the 13th. It was Thursday, I think. Thursday's daily word that really hit home, and I thought that's exactly what to talk about today. Now, I have been in Unity for 62 years. And when I first came into Unity, and if somebody would say to me, oh, it's all in divine order, I'd go, yeah, right. You know, I was inspired by the idea. I know that. I was inspired by the idea, but I also thought, who are you trying to kid? You know, this chaos that I'm experiencing, that I feel, that I see, whatever, that does not seem to be in order. And the more that I got into it, the more that I understood it, and I've called this lesson, now my eyes see you. Now my heart feels you. But there was a time when I could see the idea, but I didn't get it. You know what I'm talking about? It was like I could mouth the words, but it was not it. I remember one time going into, it was a minor surgery, and I was working at Unity Village, and in youth education office and all that. And I was going to have it like on Friday, and that Thursday somebody gave me that line, well, Judy, it's all in divine order, and then she skipped off. And I needed more from her at that point. And so I've always felt that I need to give more too. But I went to, there's a couple of books, a couple of things that, one of my very favorites by Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, is Jesus Christ Heals. I go to that book for different subjects, and I never know where is he going to talk about that. And I found two places that really spoke to me. The first one is in a chapter called The Fullness of Time. And it begins like this. He says, so let us begin anew and lay down the law. And you know what? I didn't bring my glasses up here. Whoa. And we really need order here. Let us begin anew and lay down the law of order in all that we do. If there's a tendency to hurry, let us stop and affirm divine order and rest ourselves in its poise. Touring the Holy Land with a small group, number of years ago, there was one of the women who said her motto was, I'm not into hurry, I'm not into worry, I'm not into guilt. And I don't know how many times I've used that. So Charles speaks to me here too when he says, let us affirm divine order and let go of hurry. Geologists tell us that our world has been whirling around the sun for over 500 million years. He wrote this, by the way, in 1939. So you see, there is no need to hurry. Remember that you live in eternity now. This thought of omnipresent eternity will alleviate nervous tension. Put every thought and act under the divine law. Even if you think you are, get this, even if you think you are going to miss a car, do not hurry. Another car will be right along. And if your mind is in divine order, it will be your car. I kind of laughed at that. This is 1939, streetcars he's talking about. For us, I thought, now read that as if you are running down the concourse, thinking you're going to miss the plane. That's where what we have to interpret that to mean. And then in another spot here, speaking about order, he says, before you realize the mighty power of ideas, you must unify them. All must pull together. Get your ideas in divine order, and a mighty mind force will begin to work for you right away. This divine order is necessary to the upbuilding of both mind and body. This divine order is the kingdom of heaven, so often referred to by Jesus. Order is heaven's first law. I do remember learning that when I first started taking classes. Order is so important. So we come to this place in our ministry where we are saying, it's different now than it was when I came to you in 2000, April Fool's Day of 2000. And I remember with the snow and all that thinking, God, I was on Maui. Why did I leave Maui? And I came here, and I'm scared, I'm scared. When I bought a car, I was really upset. Now, I was raised in Illinois and went to school in Wisconsin. So it's not like I didn't know what snow was, and I knew that I'd missed it, but I didn't know that I could do the job, And so when I finally bought my first Subaru, and I was talking with the salesperson about this and going through all my great things, he says, Judy, we know how to plow here. What a concept, That was order. That was order. When we were going back and forth from Traverse City to Louisville, to Boyne City to Louisville in the winter, they don't know how to plow down there. They don't know how to shovel down there. They're not sure what the shovel looks like and what you end to use, I think. And I found down there that I was constantly, having issues. They have ice. They have snow. if they don't shovel it, it's difficult to walk. And when you're a dog, you walk. So anyway, they have a lot to learn there. So I thought, you might say, why are we talking about divine order? Well, about this point in this ministry, your board of directors has been going on retreat. They've been exploring the concept of doing a community-led ministry. That's not new at all, but I didn't know what it looked like when I was serving you. I mentioned it to Ann. She and I used to lead focus groups. They were in the corner in the fellowship hall or back there. We would sit back there, and we didn't know what it was supposed to look like either. But we would, and I just knew that there was something other than minister carries the ball, minister is the coach, minister writes the plays, minister does the job, minister is the bottom line, and that's why it always felt like it was such a big load. And that's why even worked in the seminary training ministers for 5 years. Our classes at that time had 40 people in them. And they went out in the field, and many of them many burned out by 5 years. That's the average length of work for ordained ministers is 5 years. That carrying the ball, the whole package, is exhausting. It was hard to stand up. But knowing order and knowing that it is not I, it is the Spirit within me that does this work. And when we used to sit up here. When I'd get up to give that message, I'd always say, I step aside now and the Holy Spirit leads the way. I still say that the minute I leave the chair. I step aside. I, Judy, step aside. It is the whole Spirit of God leading the way. And that is what I believe is going on now. So Ann and I had this vision. 2005, I retired, so to speak. That was what the word, I remember May Rowland, who was director of Silent Unity at that time, when she retired, she said she was retiring. That's when I was new at the church on Maui, and she came and her retirement trip to say, I am not retiring, I am retiring for something else. But during those years now, the church here, you went through some ups and you went through some lows. And that's the process and all. All I know is it looks like this sometimes. And so there were a number of years. And then what happened, and it isn't just our church, COVID came. And COVID said to us, you got to design a whole new structure here. First of all, ministry as a profession is dying. Okay? Ministers aren't going into it. Technology combined with COVID is what scared many out. They didn't have the tech skills. I would be one of those. They didn't have the skills that they knew they needed in order to do this job right. And then some of them just thought, there isn't enough remuneration in it. It's like when our doctors leave up north and they go down state. And you say, why is she, my very first one, when I got to Boyne, saw her one time, and then she said, I'm leaving. I thought, good deal here. This is not exactly what I planned, way it should be. But she said, I have to go down there. I'm not paid enough to live up here and do this work. So for whatever reason that is, there's others of us who say it's not about the money. But it's changed. No longer our church is all mission focused. Mission meaning what we're doing. We have missions, I would say galore. If you look at our sheet of what's going on this week, that's great. But what does the model of ministry look like now? It looks like instead of being hierarchical, and I always did it this way, with God as our source, and we went this way, and here's our congregation and our community, because the work is spread out this way. And I was in that, say, at the planting stage of that. Looking at it that way, it was still, it helped, but it still was a large load to do it that way. And now the way this ministry has, because of those years of COVID, and because there are not ministers applying to fill the pulpit anymore. This has turned out to be a community-led operation, if you would. And I think that is thrilling. I have seen it once in as close as I can see to what it would look like. And believe it or not, that's an Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, ELCA, in Louisville, Kentucky. And I've gone there now. Ken and I went there when we were living in Louisville some of the time. But now I've gone back when we go down to see the kids down there. That church, it's magnificent. Yes, there is a minister. Yes, he's in a robe. But there are more people cooperating in that church, more people in the service. And when you go to the fellowship hall, there's all these activity centers, like with pictures of the people on the teams, like the finance team, and pictures of them, and the worship team, and the music team, and the youth ministry team, and all that. And it's so exciting to me because that's not where I'd expect to see it. And what he does in that service is he gets up and he gives the message. And yes, he's a part of the serving of communion, but only a part of it with all the others who are doing it with him. So we are in process. And I don't know what it's going to look like exactly. I know that your board of directors and trustees continues to explore, continues to delve within, but doesn't want to do any of that in secret. They've been on retreat, and I was with them on one of those retreats, and wow, my heart was so open because we're tilling a new field, and it was so exciting to share at that level. And to share in the we don't know level exactly, but we know we have the cooperation and the support. That page says simply, we shall all be changed. And I think that's it. We shall all be changed through this. And it's magnificent. And I am so excited. I went to one other person who I knew would have something to say that I thought would be relevant here, and that was the late Reverend Eric Butterworth. And my favorite book of everything of his is Discover the Power Within You. And the very last chapter, the title of that is When Shall the Kingdom Come? And that's where I went. I went to the back of the book first. And I'm going to read just one section here that he writes about, his vision of what ministry would be or the church would be, the church. He says, the word religion, now get this, means to bind together. To bind together. Well, that's a shock, doesn't it? It means to bind together. I've had a history of, since I've been serving you, of marrying many couples. Between Ken and myself, we've married well over 6,000 couples. And now I have the privilege of having them come to my house and sit and talk. Usually I decide a couple last Saturday, a couple yesterday. They come to the house and we talk about what they want in their wedding, but we talk about who they are. I said, when I do this wedding, I want you to feel like I've known you for at least 2 years, maybe 20 years. Not like you came off the street and I say, God bless you, get out the door here, put on the rings and be good. It isn't like that. It's so much more now. So anyway, back to what Eric had to say. He says, I say a wedding is binding together now. And when they say we don't want a religious service, I said, but you are bound together. And remember that this is a covenant you're making with one another. So then he's still talking about religion. He says it is a relationship of awareness of man's unity with the great creative force of God. Ancient religions had no formal doctrine. They were simply a way to strengthen the individual's relationship with the infinite. Okay? The ministry itself, all of us bound together in spirit, bound together because we love all parts of creation, as Mary Ann led us in the covenant. Prayer was spontaneous expression of a finite man seeking to feel his unity with the infinite. It was only as religions became corporate bodies that dogma and ceremony took precedence over the individual quest. The purpose of religion, from the standpoint of its work with the individual, was unity with the church rather than unity with God. And then he goes on and he says, the church has a vital place in the life of humanity, or of man and of woman, but not as a supermarket in which to pick up some takeout orders of faith and prayer. The church must be a school in which the individual learns the truth of his unity with God, of her own divine sonship, and of the kingdom of heaven within. Like any place of learning, the church must seek to make itself progressively unnecessary, to help people to become self-reliant. In other words, if the church is doing its job sincerely, it will be forever trying to put itself out of business. Okay, if we're doing the right job, we're putting ourselves right out of business. In the book of Revelation, there's an interesting insight into a great dream. So you can hold this image: the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, and I saw no temple therein. In other words, the vision of the future reveals a God-inhabited society of God-intoxicated people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have churches. That's where he ends it. So he goes on, and the later part in the chapter says, in the future, the only church worthy of the name will be a center, open to the mind and in doctrine and in form, helping all people to find the Spirit within themselves. And I believe that's totally consistent with Unity's basic principle number 5, which is that which you have received and that which you have learned, take it into the world and share it. Service, let it go. It's like we receive and we let it go. So when we leave here, we don't have to pick up a basket of good ideas and of faith and prayer and say, I got mine. Heck with the rest of you. No. And what this has brought me to is, as I watch television, as I know what's going on in the world, of speaking divine order and love to the players, even if in principle, I disagree with so much, but I've got to bring myself into the place of love and affirm divine order, not just peace, but the peace that is found in divine order. So I'm going to ask you for just a moment, if you would, just go within one more time and say, God, we are ready. We are ready to be the church that you would have us be the center of love that shares the truth, that teaches, that builds, that supports, that heals. As a healed community, then, we will do your work in your world in whatever way you lead us. And so it is, and for this we do give thanks, now and forevermore. Amen, and God bless you, each one. Don't ever let me get up there without glasses again. That was They're in that bag. Thank you. Just didn't think about them. Thank you. Thank you. It fits where we are.
Before I go into the next part, which is our prosperity time, I have to tell you, Judy and I did not talk before this service. So the whole idea of divine order. No. That's how divine order works. Oh gosh, it blows me away. Anyway, now is really the time of our offering. It's a time to share our financial gifts with the ministry. As children of a loving God, we live in the light of abundance, deeply grateful for all that has been given and all that is to come. We embrace the good that God provides with joy and thanksgiving. And together, let's say our prosperity blessing. Words are on the slide. Together, God is the constant, unconditional, and unfailing source of good in my life.
I am a center of creation. I am a seed planted in stillness. I am a center of creation. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation. I am a tree rooted in fullness. I am a center of creation. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation. I am complete, living in wholeness. I am a center of creation. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. One, two, three, four. I am the center of creation. I am a seed planted in stillness. I am a center of creation. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation. I am a tree rooted in fullness. I am a center of creation. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation. I am complete, living in wholeness. I am a center of creation. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation. I am a center of creation. I am a center of creation.
Thank you, music team. Am I still on? I am still on. Hey, if you ever feel like dancing, when Lori's always dancing in the back. So if you ever want a partner to dance with, just stand up, go meet Lori, and you can dance your way through these wonderful songs. Oh, so I want to end today's service with a big thank you to everyone who volunteered today, people back in fellowship, our ushers, our greeters, our music team, just everyone, the congregation for showing up. If you're new to Unity and would like to learn more about us, there are information packets in the back. You can get one of those from the ushers, and it will tell you more about who we are, what we do, so on and so forth. Basically, everybody's welcome here all the time. And with that, I think we're ready to form our circle.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well.